after another edition of Snub TV.
In places like the Caribbean, the Middle East, and Europe.
Snub Television.
In London, Norwich, and Birmingham, Manchester, Edinburgh, Liverpool, Nottingham.
Snub Television.
Industrial, commercial.
No.
This week on Snub, the Pale Saints, Loop, Lemonheads, Chrysler Orchestra and Primal Scream. From Leeds, the Pale Saints have just released their first album, The Comforts of Madness, on 4AD. Snub went to Nantes in France to film them as part of a 4AD showcase in that city.
I don't know what my brain's trying to do, but it's not really getting to my mouth.
But 2 years ago in Leeds, we found an advert in a music shop for somebody looking for a singer. Just sort of got together like that and messed around a bit for a while, and after a while started to become a bit serious.
We had a list of 500 names and we narrowed it down to one by crossing all the others out.
It was about the second demo we recorded, just sent them out to
to all the independent labels that we thought would be worth sending it to. And I've always interested, came and see us play live. That was it really. I mean, we had talks with about 3 or 4. 4AD came up with the best offer.
I think we have got commercial potential, but I wouldn't go out of our way to change it to make it commercial.
That's a lie for a start.
Chrysler Orchestra record for factory records and describe themselves as contemporary musicians, reclaiming classical music from the embalming effects of the classical establishment. What's so different about these musicians, some refugees from the pop scene, and their approach?
Often people think that we're going against what they've already set up as supposedly the classical world and how it works. I think we're in a world of our own in a sense, and we do things differently. I mean, I've worked in the professional sort of field, and I'm just a lot happier working here. There's a lot of freedom and expression.
That's the main thing for us, for all the people in the orchestra, that everybody has, you know, as much as possible, an equal input into how we play a piece of music, how we rehearse everything. It's very democratic, which is very different to like most of the orchestras that do have conductors, because obviously you've got one guy telling all these musicians, you know, how to play a piece of music, which can be really destructive, I think. For me, as far as most of the music's concerned, it is just as relevant to anybody, and you know, the fact that Mozart and Haydn, etc., had rich patronage to keep them going, because that was how it was done. For me, it's got absolutely nothing to do with it now, because it's, you know, it is the late 20th century. We're a string orchestra of normal people. We haven't got any money. We do concerts, and people come to them, and it is difficult for us to try and get our audience to throw off that sort of weight of centuries of tradition and the way things have always been done, and this is the way it'll always will be done. And we want to get rid of all of that. It does have that very safe element. I mean, it isn't, a lot of it isn't threatening. When you listen to Mozart Symphony, you know, it's so safe. It's so, especially if it's been recorded in a very sort of warm, reverberant acoustic, you can just lie back and let it wash over you, which is nice for some things, but it does help to perpetrate the image of the music.
I suppose when we play even something like Mozart, who's traditionally thought of as a very graceful and elegant composer, we try and add a bit of danger to it.
part of a particular scene or even very fated, over the last few years, Loop have been fashioning their own very distinctive and large sound. Reluctant to spotlight the band, they've applied themselves to visual representations. Snub pressed their reticent singer, Robert, to expand on the meaning of Loop.
There's nothing we can say that's really going to open a world for someone or change their lives that drastically. And I think sometimes the press seem to expect that you know, everything you say is going to enlighten people, almost like a religious effect. I mean, all we think about really is Loop. And we don't really think about the world of pop or rock or whatever you wish to call it. We're just trying to do our own thing. I'm not saying we're groundbreaking to any extent, but you know, there's a certain element to it that we're actually doing it more for ourselves than anybody else. Because for us, it's a very good release of certain anxieties and aggressions that are well up in us. So it's a good release for us, but as regards to viewing it to everybody else, you know, other bands and stuff like that, then we don't really think about them at all. We've always been interested in very sort of cinematic things. I mean, basically we sort of ripped off Hellraiser through that, but sort of added our own special touch to it. It's a very strong image, the eye, because the eye receives information, and that's a way of maybe keeping an open-minded attitude to it, by always keeping your eyes open so it can receive information, and hopefully it's not jilted by someone else. So we keep it's not so much, it's not so strong with us as it used to be. Obviously because, you know, times change and we like to change as well. But as you can see, this is very strong. I guess it sort of stems from a six. Well, I think we're all very literate. I mean, we've all got very wide tastes in music. You know, we don't just sit at home and listen to the accepted forms of music in the rock area. I mean, I think rock's a very overused term. It's lost its meaning. It's like the word psychedelia. The meaning has been totally eradicated by overuse. I mean, we don't actually like to be called a rock band, because I don't think we really are a rock band. I'd like to think that maybe our music goes beyond classification, really. The closest effect you could get to us is having your retinas burnt while you've got a migraine.